Hello. I just sneezed. Of course, I'm going live and I sneeze. What else is there? Excuse me. I got a little bit of a thing between sneezing, nose, and everything else. I'm still here though. I just didn't want to blow my nose on camera. Craziness. Sorry about that. Had to blow my nose. Didn't really want to do that on camera. Have a little bit of sneezes today, and not that I'm not sick. I just, whatever. Oh, you had a nosebleed this morning. Oh, crazy. So welcome everybody. Thank you for joining me. For those who are joining me for the first time, my name is Mary June Tracy, psychic medium, spiritual love life coach, and an astrologer. Mainly I go with my astrology. The intuition comes in with everything else in the coaching, and it just all blends into one. So welcome everybody. Well, welcome to another crazy day on your fantastic Earth Walk. And I'm hoping you are having a fabulous time and enjoying your Earth Walk, because it is a little bit of craziness. There's a lot of nuttiness that is going on there. What have I been doing? I joined a group. I did sort of a little group, and doing some daily meditations and prayers each day in the morning. And I started this on Ash Wednesday, so it's a Lent thing. So don't freak out because I said the word Lent. I know I have some pagans on here that get freaky deaky, or used to get freaky deaky, maybe not so much anymore, about, when you use the word Jesus or God. And then they freak out and they're like, oh my God, I'm so offended. And I just like, oh my God. Oh my goodness gracious. But no, I've been doing a little bit and some looking into understanding a lot of the Bible and doing some stuff with that. So it's something I feel I'm needing to connect. You're needing to connect with the big J. Yeah. And that's what I find. There's a book that is really a good book, and it's this one, He Leadeth Me. This book is written by Walter J. Ciszek. And he's kind of, I like him because he's a little shit disturber of a priest. Got himself into a lot of trouble as a youth. His dad even took him down to the police station and asked him if they would take him. Because he was just getting into shit. He skipped more school than he went, and he ended up becoming a Jesuit priest. So if you understand anything to do with Jesuit priests, those guys are highly educated. They know the shit. They are the lawyers to the church, so they know their shit. He signed up. Good morning, Char. He signed up to be a priest and everything else. It's all about his journey. It's really interesting because he ended up being imprisoned in Russia during World War II as a spy, an espionage spy, in the height of communism. And when the USSR was around, you couldn't even speak the word of God. Like, you could not say God without being imprisoned or being looked at. So they closed down all the churches. Who else is closing down all the churches right now? Let me think. Who's doing that right now? And he's getting a lot of money from governments, like billions of dollars from governments. And who's that guy again? What's his name? Yinsky, something like that. Anyways, let's go back to USSR. And all of the churches were closed down. All the priests and anybody who is practicing, either priests or reverends and sisters, and that, they were all rounded up and thrown in prison during that time. And it was horrendous. It was horrible. Anyways, he was put to jail in one of the worst prisons. anyways, I'm doing a little bit of thing on him, and I find it interesting because it talks about being broken. You know, like when you are at the utmost bottom line, can't do, like, you are just totally broken, and there's nothing you can do, right? Um, okay, all right, hang on. You guys still there? Sorry, my daughter just texted me. I love her. I mean, she never watches my lives anyways. What did she ask me? This is going to be off topic. Do you think I should go off birth control for a bit? Ooh, what does mama think? I know what my answer is, but sorry about that. She texted and then the thing went crazy. Uh, I'm going to put my answer. There we go. I put my answer. And then she's going to come back with her little thingy. So anyways, I put my answer. Anyways, back to Mr. Chiswick, Father Chiswick. About being totally broken. And I feel like we're coming to a time about being totally broken. Like, we cannot take it anymore. How much more can people take? Like, that's the whole thing. When we look at let's just start with our taxes. We're taxed over 40%. We're going to be taxed another 23% when it comes to this carbon bullshit. You are taxed if certain provinces tax you an extra 5, 7, whatever percent on top of whatever the GST is that is being taxed on that. So there's a lot of taxation without representation in our lives right now. And this is where it's really important where to look at like how far are we, like we are, like a lot of things, like what he went through. Let's go back to she's texting me, and it's a lot of what Father Chiswick went through and the breaking down where he ended up having to sign and say, yeah, I am an espionage spy. And he's like, he's a religious order, he wasn't even spying, he wants to preach the word of God to people. And just broken down to a point where you are like humility to everything, like you are so broken. Now it kind of, where I don't know if people were broken, but we're set into fear, so much fear that if you don't do this, and I mean, we saw a politician, I don't know who that was, but a politician that got up and called his nation a bunch of bad names. I don't know who that was, but I think he gets a really good haircut and he comes from a very prominent family. Can't think of him. I don't know. Maybe you guys can comment below. Trying to put people into a place that of being broken, and I feel a lot of what the world is going into right now is a lot of brokenness. And reading about Father Chiswick and his testimony and his extraordinary life. This is his second book. He does have a first book of of him and of his life and going into entering into the seminary. It's interesting. It's and I'm finding these correlations, and I'm when I look around, I see so many people are being pushed to brokenness, are being pushed to a place where they what am I supposed to do? I'm just going to give in. I don't know what else to do. And because so much is either being taken away from people, so much is being thrusted upon them, where they feel like I don't know what else to do. Hence that the program that the Canadian government started, the MAID program, is gets people like, oh well, what the hell, what else can I do? There's nothing more for me to live for, and I'm finding that this is giving me an understanding that even when you are so on the streets, broken, whatever it is, and whatever that is for you, because everybody has their own brokenness. Like, you can't compare your brokenness to somebody else's brokenness, right? Everybody has their own degree of brokenness, right? So you can't compare, because you walking in their shoes could be, you might think it looks easy, but then you get into their shoes and you find it horrendous. They go into your shoes and they find it horrendous. So you can't judge on somebody's brokenness. But this is where it's like we're looking at each one of us, and what we are carrying, and what that means, and how it shows up. And it shows up very differently for all of us. And this is where we have to come into humbleness, a grace of humbleness, a place where we can really come into reverence and discernment. And as we do that, in whatever's happening within our lives and whatever's going on in our craziness, we have to understand that there is light. Like, there is a door there. There is light. It just sometimes feel very heavy to open. And sometimes it doesn't open the way that we want it to go. I mean, it doesn't swing the way we want it to swing this way, and it swings that way, or it pulls in instead of pushing out. We want it, we want the door to look like I don't know, like Monsters Inc. door. The purple one with the little flowers and stuff. Like, we want the door to look a certain way, and it doesn't. And so we get very frustrated because that's the way we want it, but we don't, without the understanding that there's something really greater that's coming along. We just can't see it right now. And that's where the grace in humbleness comes in. And the well, it's deep and it's filled. There's a beautiful well, and it's a very deep well. And years ago, when I went into to study for the sisterhood and stuff like that, for the Sisters of Charity, we talked about the deep well. I ended up taking I took this little spiritual course with this man and wife, and I can't remember what their name was. But anyways, it was quite a few years ago. I've done a lot of shit. And they were talking about the deep well, and I found it kind of funny that, because they, a lot of things within the Judeo-Christian um, belief systems and how they do things, very similar to paganism, very similar to spirituality. They just word it differently, kind of thing. But anyways, going back to the well, there is a deep well. The divine has a deep well for us, a well that when you are feeling that you cannot take it anymore, you can dip into this well, no matter what. That well is there. It does not have judgment. It does not say, no, you can't because you did da 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 da, but you can because you have done da 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 da. So it doesn't, there's no judgment. The well is there. The well is there for all, and it's deep, and it's filled with all what we need to nourish us. And that nourishment comes in many different forms in whatever we need. And that's what we need to surrender to. And that's where, with all of the craziness that's happening with Jupiter and Mars, with Pluto and Aquarius, it's about our desires and and what we want to do, but it's also about planting our seeds and what we are planting our seeds. What are those seeds for the long term? Even as it's, squaring over to Jupiter, and Jupiter is saying, I can't do anything for you. There's not much I can do, I'm showing you, I'm expanding everything, but it's that over expansion of assumption of over being overwhelmed with everything, and within society, and the anxiety and everything that comes up to it. And this is where, where we can get obsessed with what we want of our soul. And we might think we're cocky. We might think we know what's best. We might think, I can do this, instead of coming around saying, okay, you know what? I surrender. It's not really worth my fight. It's not worth what it is that is being asked of me at this time. I can't, I can't change your mind. I can't show you something that you don't want to see. All I can do is surrender and come into my humility. And then when I come into that surrender and humility, what happens is that, yeah, I get the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. I should have done this. I could have done this. And, all of this guilt can come over us. But this is where we have to come in, and it is saying that we have to come into the compassion. The moon is in Leo. We have to look into that inner child, that inner compassion and passion that we need to have for ourselves. In these great times of transformation and change that are coming forward, in these times that are bringing us trials and tribulations, and everybody is behind the crazy eight ball. I mean, um, just with some watching some people in California, they're having horrendous rainfall, and I another station I follow anyways, they've been seeding the clouds since December. In I think even before December, they've been seeding the clouds in California. Now they're getting such horrific rainfall that there are buildings that have never, that are having roofing problems and termite problems, and they've never had these things before, so they're having issues that they've never had before. And it's just compiling with a lot of people. It's compiling one on top of the other on top of the other. Places where they said you're safe, secure, you're far enough away from the cliffside. Oh, this cliff will never fall. There's $1 million houses on the side of cliffs now because most of it is washed away because of all the heavy rainfall. So craziness is happening all around us. And even here, we had a report now that we are starting here in Alberta of forest fires. This is February. We're not even into spring. We're not even into the heat. We're supposed to have we're supposed to get extremely cold next week, right? And what that's going to be. So now we have this coming up, right? But the CA screamed drought a year ago. Yeah. Um, which is, yes, but they seeded the clouds. They seeded the clouds. That's what they did. And that's what they do in Dubai. And now Dubai is having, like, when you start fucking with Mother Nature, she's gonna fuck you back. Like, you just don't do that. I'm just like, you just don't do that. You don't mess around with Mother Nature. But that's the thing. You start messing around with Mother Nature instead of working with her, because there's ways of creating rainfall. There's ways of creating that energy and rising that energy. But of course, so many people are disconnected from that. They don't understand how to do that. I mean, we can go all the way back to Solomon and how he prepared his people and created rainfall, right? Just by chanting and getting everybody into an energetic mode of believing there's rain coming. Oh, there's rain coming. There's rain coming. There's rain coming. You hear it enough, you believe it. You know it's going to come. Amazing. You hear something enough, right? You know it's going to come. Right? It's that energy. You hear enough on the news, on television, or whatever it is that you listen to, it becomes a belief system because you hear it over and over and over and over and over and again, and they start getting you to believe something, whether that is to free a certain nation, be against this nation, but we'll give that nation billions of dollars, to this person over here is really bad and we should hate him because he's got such oppression in his country. Yet you see it and you're like, what the fuck? What do you mean they have oppression? How come their subways look like a museum? Right? Why? Why can they go into a grocery store and buy the same amount of food that maybe you and I buy that could cost up to $400, cost them, with all of the pressures and sanctions that the outside world puts on them, yet they are still able to buy a really good bottle of wine and some really good bread, because they make really good bread, and pay $100. It's questions to be asked, right? I know I went from being humble to asking these questions, but these are questions that we have to even look at it within our own lives and within the world around us, because it in a lot of our brokenness is our unwillingness to stand up. A lot of our brokenness is our fear to stand up, our fear of what may come at us, what may happen. I mean, the court case with Julian Assange is happening right now in the High Court of England. What the hell? Free the guy. They've totally have been like through either starvation and isolation. I mean, his whole health is deteriorating. He's deteriorating, all because he's a journalist that wrote the truth. And that's what get people fearful. Love him or hate him, look what they did to Trump. Who wants to do business in New York right now? Well, they could do it to me if I don't agree with them and follow what they say. It happens in so many subliminal ways. And then it comes into our subconscious. And then, yeah, we feel like, oh, I can't do anything. I feel lifeless. I can't, do the things I want, but you can. And that's when you stand into your light. And you stand up and you be that light, you be that assertiveness, you be that person who is saying, yeah, this is what I need to do. And I need to take some time and not overthink things, right? I can't overthink things. I got to give things up. I got to allow for the divine, God, angels, whoever you believe in. I don't give a shit, to lead me, to show me. And I need to trust in them because right now the energies are all in about the soul. All about the soul. The last two signs, Aquarius and Pisces. This energy, and with Neptune being there and with Saturn being there, is about the structures I put into place and how I align them within my own life. And how I am able to come into a place of humility, of compassion, of love for myself, so I may go further and I may step into a more harmonious life. But yeah, but that guilt, that shame comes in, the disruption. And, it's like looking into the positive aspects in our life. Putting on a funny movie right now is really getting into some fun things. I mean, I feel like I should have volunteered for Mateus today because they went to the Telespark um, today, Science Center. That would have been fun. That would have been a blast, right? A lot of listening to a bunch of 8-year-olds like, look at this. He's so excited because he wants to use the VR goggles because they have them there. I'm just like, oh shit, that's a whole nother realm to go on to. But those are the things that he's exposed to, right? That's the energy that he's exposed to in this time. So this is where of looking into, of being and stepping into and having fun and making sure I keep on make sure this, if you're going into something, is it safe? If I'm going on a ride, do I have, making sure they have the seatbelts, not go on the ride and like, holy shit, they haven't put the seatbelts in yet. I can't tell you how grateful I am for you and your perspective. Oh, thanks, Dana. The craziness that goes through my head, right? You get bogged down, but it's deep, it's clear. And Pisces, spirituality. It is spirituality and stepping into that spirituality. But we get bogged down and we can't force ourselves, and in the should have and the could have, and it's lacking that compassionate energy for our own selves, right? There is a story that came up. I well, what do I do? Where are you? I belong to it's called the Universal Life Church. It's a very diverse church. They have pagan priests and stuff like that too. They have reverends and everything else. They just don't have Catholic ones because you can't be a Catholic without priest, without going through a few years of seminary. But a rabbi in Hawaii is filing a suit after being fined $40,000 for hosting a religious gathering at his home. In a lawsuit, the rabbi hosting a religious gathering in his home. The county says Rabbi Levi Gertzi failed to acquire the proper permits for such gathering. He is fighting and arguing that requiring permits for a private religious gathering is unconstitutional, which is right. It is unconstitutional. But back in 22, the Hawaiian County Planning Office told him the meeting he was holding at the Shabbat Jewish Center on the Hawaiian Big Island lacked the proper permits. Shaddad's Jewish Center of the Big Island is Rabbi Galetsky home. So, right or wrong, I mean, he has a group. There's a picture here. It's on X, and 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 men studying the Bible. But he's being fined. He's facing fines of he's racked up over fines of over $40,000. So he's contesting it. Do you think he's right? Do you think he has a case? Interesting, right? The other really interesting thing is, and this I can remember this with Madonna. People were looking for something biblical in Madonna, right? Was attacked yesterday by a friend who is a lay nun for not being a true Catholic based on psychic connection. Felt like the 1700s and that she have killed me as a witch already. Well, that's the fear, right? That's part of the fear too. There was where was it? It's in Pennsylvania, in this one town, and it's a metaphysical shop, and they do tarot readings. And the buy officer or the sheriff came in and said, "You got to next time I see you do that, I'm fining you and throwing you in jail." And you're like, "What? What?" Yeah. And it's funny when I get them, saying that of which is crazy, crazy. Especially when and the thing about Dana said about the nun, about being a true Catholic. Well, it is a true Catholic, and who are you to judge who a true Catholic is? Because I know a hell of a lot of fucking true Catholics that do a hell of a lot of crazy things and damage and really not nice things, right? You know, so I mean, and then talking about being a psychic. Well, excuse me, the church has used psychics and astrologers for years, but they pick and choose, and those are the ones that can be saved, right? Um, exactly. Judge not, least ye not be judged. But that's the whole thing. That's with Saturn and Pisces, that's what happens when Saturn comes into Pisces. People really become judgmental. That's where people, because Saturn wants order. He likes dogma. He really loves dogma. He likes to have things a certain way, look a certain way, right? Saturn is the one who makes you look really good on your wedding day or on your prom, or really gets you to make sure everything is pressed and looking good when you're going out on that fabulous date. He wants that structure. And that's why you're going to be finding, especially since he's going to be in there for another year or two, of people jumping, people getting into the dogma, getting into the restrictions and saying it has to be done this way, right? And I'm coming in, and this is where it's like it's going to get into a dirty emotional place for a lot of people, because what they truly believe within inside themselves, they're hiding that depth within themselves, that calling that they have. But because they are so fearful that they bow down to the powers that be, because there's a belief system that comes in that gets them to believe, right? Um, in this one other story about um, Taylor, does Taylor Swift have secret religious messages? No, she's just out there to make $1 billion, man. She's just happy she's making money, and she made, you know, she made a contract with somebody who's a little bit red. Just saying, because of and that's unfortunately, Alicia Keys is another one. Many of them have. When they start to break away and stuff, that's when you see a lot of shit happen to them. Justin Bieber, you start seeing really, why is all that crap happening to that person? Well, they decided not to fully commit to what is being said. I remember just going back, Justin Bieber went to Coachella, and oh, what's her name? Oh, She's new. She's new. She's singing. She sings so sad songs. She sung that new Barbie song that's all a hit. Anyways, he went and she loved Justin. He went to the thing, right? And the funny thing is, he went and I remember the interview. I remember him talking to somebody, and he said to him, "If you need help at any time," he goes, "I know this business. If you Billie Eilish, yeah, that's it. Thank you. Very good, Dana. Love it." Went and he goes, "If you need help at any time, I'm here." And the thing is the way he did it and the way he said, because he knew you're getting a little bit big, girl, and they're going to come after you. And the thing is, if you want to stay big, if you want to stay to where you are, I mean, she's taken her whole family out of where they lived. They lived, in a smallish house, nothing, nothing outlandish, very somewhat just a just into the middle class um place. I can't remember exactly. I know she's like feels like she's from the East Coast or something. But this is where all of a sudden contracts in all of this is coming at you, which is great. You're being seen. You're being given a chance to get your music out, get promoted. But it's coming at a cost, right? It's coming at a cost. And when you see ones that go independent and say, "No, I'm going to do this independently. I don't want to be it it's a it's a difficult one, especially when so much is being offered and then you look at where your family is and how hard maybe your mother and father are working and you want to give them something better." So you think. And bring them to this world. And yeah, I mean, I just saying. Anyways, back to what I was saying. I just don't want to get too deep into that because that's a huge one. With Taylor. So, anyways, does Taylor's music defy God? And like Madonna, generations earlier, not all religious folks approve of Taylor and her music, and it uses religious references. Despite Swift's, for the most part, clean lyrics, some critics are cautioning their fellow believers about listening to her and arguing that they don't align with Christian values. So she's on the chopping block with a lot of Christians right now. And she has a new song out, or The People of Faith. What is it called? Um, False God. She's got it's called False God. The So however you want to take it. But there's a Lutheran high school is which is located in Vegas, have founded a Taylor Swift Bible study. And the group meets once a week to discuss scripture and how it relates to Swift songs. And we take Swift song lyrics and we connect them to the Bible. So so they're taking that, so decoding the lyrics. I mean, this has happened throughout since, I mean, for I don't know how long. Uh, of decoding lyrics, or they're saying something, or the Beatles put the Beatle record backwards, right? And you're going to hear something, or they're going to say, "Paul is dead, Paul is dead." You put, so anybody who had a record player and you could play it backwards, there are messages in all of these records and stuff. Um, it's been going on, right? The subliminal messages that come through, heavy rock, heavy metal, and stuff like that. And they all had subliminal messages. And so I think this is something that's been going on. Not saying if it's true or not. It's something for people to, you got to go in and look at it for yourself. But I thought that was kind of funny. Um, Usher got married right after the Super Bowl, if that interests you. He got married at a drive-through chapel in Vegas. So found that interesting. What else? Um, oh, has Jesus gone woke? That's the other. It was a controversial ad that was played during the Super Bowl. The buzziest Super Bowl ad of 20 weren't all typically humorous celebrity ads, but some of this year's most discussed ads spots are a pair of a pro Jesus commercial that seemingly no one, Christians and non-Christians alike, is happy about. And it's about foot washing, entitled "Foot Washing," and debuting during the game. It depicts a variety of scenes of individuals washing the feet of others, from police officers washing a man's feet in an alley to a man washing an environment activist's feet at a protest to an older woman washing the feet of a young woman feet at an abortion clinic. So Jesus didn't hate. Jesus didn't teach hate. The ad concludes, he washed feet. So it was $100 million ad campaign about Jesus washing feet. That was quite an interesting, but it got a huge backlash, right? And about both believers and non-believers lambasted the ads online, but for very different reasons. Non-religious folks criticized the ad for their price tag, arguing that money would be better spent elsewhere. I agree. Like actively helping the needy or really getting into an educational program to help those, right? Meanwhile, evangelists were outraged by the social justice undertone in the ads, arguing that they distorted the views of Christ and present a false version of Jesus who is tolerant of sin. Interesting. And some even accused he gets us teamed up, misunderstanding the meaning behind foot washing entirely. So, I mean, you can't please everybody, but a lot of people are pissed off about that. That whole ad. So I found that very interesting. And the whole thing about the other part too, on a flip side, about a Muslim woman sues over a mugshot scandal where she was asked to take off her hijab in to remove it, and a woman is suing the Michigan County and Sheriff's Office. Are they as they forced her to take it off, and the woman says she felt violated, as if she were naked in the police space. But now she's hoping the legal system will punish the county and the sheriff's office. So she's going out for instrumental amount of humiliation and trauma. She's been traumatized by this. For this. So yeah, so that's the other thing that's going on. So it's the flip side too, right? There was also a woman in Tennessee that was asked to do the same thing and was forced to remove the hijab for a mug shop, and she similarly described herself feeling naked without it. That's yeah, that's interesting. So that's going on too. So there's a lot of craziness that's going on in the world all over the place. And I mean, you can't deny how people feel about that, whether you think it's wrong, right? You know, this is where we're at. I thought I'd bring those in because I thought those are the things that came across my email. So I thought I'd share them. At one of her videos, though, it showed that there was a satanic person that was sitting right beside her. So now people are saying that she's satanic. Oh, the one that was doing, she was doing, oh, the woman in the back and with the upside down cross. Yes, I saw that. She was doing yeah, was it Satanism? Was it occultism? Was it witchcraft? Whatever you want to call it. But I've seen those signs being done by witches doing different symbols, of, putting out the different symbols and how she was doing it. So was she Satanist? I cannot say, but I know there's a lot of things that happen and rituals that go on, which I am not going to talk about on a public forum, that are quite gruesome, of what you have to partake in order for you to get your name out there in doing it. So, you know, was it or was it not? Interesting. But I know some of the symbolisms that were being used. Watched a little bit. It was a very quick clip on the woman behind her, you know. But yeah. And her Taylor Swift and her man got kicked out of Hell's Kitchen for being too drunk. Just this last week too. So I thought that was funny. Like, so the world has gone crazy in a lot of different ways, but this is where for us to better self spiritually, um, it's like thinking, don't be thinking about the carrot, don't what's ever dangling in front of you, and you think, oh, I gotta go after this, oh, I gotta go after that. You're just going to get yourself in, you're shitting a knot. You're just going to get yourself all over the place. And this isn't, thinking of what is in front doesn't help. So communication key before you step into it. Keep, there's a disconnect, to be somewhat disconnected, when you're getting over emotional, because emotions can run very high over the silliest of things. I mean, this morning, most of our morning was spent talking to the CRA and Service Canada this morning. It doesn't go over very well because I can't make those phone calls. It was on Steve's part. He had to make all those phone calls and he hates doing that shit. So, of course, it causes tension and nitpicking and shit like that. So, but we got it through, got it done. So that's a positive thing. So this is where it's like, watching where you're overly intense on something, come back. Why am I being overly intense? Why am I getting so upset? It's like last week when I was working, a guy called from the hospital. and I found out like he could be quite an asshole. But anyways, he called and he goes, I'm having open heart surgery tomorrow and I need you to contact my curling club, which we have no way of connecting his contacted his curling club, and I need you to contact them and get them a replacement for me because I'm having open heart surgery tomorrow morning. I'm like, okay, sorry about that. Could see why you're having in my mind. I'm like, I can see why you're having open heart surgery because you're sounding like a real asshole. I feel sorry for the nurses, right? you know, and there, so I said, I'll type up this email and I'll send it off to Tanis because she's in charge of booking the lanes for them, and she can get a hang. And he goes, and my wife will call to get the wording of what you wrote in the email. I'm like, that's fine. He goes, who are you? I said, I work twice a week. I said, I don't have access to any of that. Why don't you? And I said, because I work twice a week and it's above my pay grade. And I really, it's not that important. You got open heart surgery tomorrow, man. God bless you. You know, have a good one. Sent the email off, clicked. You know, that's the whole thing. Yeah, feeling like bawling, crying, overwhelmness. A lot of people are overwhelmed. You're just crying over, and that's just where you're feeling the empathy. You're getting empathetic. You're feeling a lot of the energies that are going on in the world, the sadness, the chaos, everything. You could be sitting there just watching a regular show that's not even emotional, and you'll be feeling the emotions coming in, right? So it's watching. This is your data point: clear intentions, not jumping and reacting. Let me understand what I'm doing. Like, what am I doing right now? This is what I got to focus on. This is what I got to do. Nothing else matters except for what I'm doing right now. And I got to do it step by step. I can't get in and overreact over stuff, and it's, there's a lot of dirty emotional places, as I said, and crazy things are happening all over the place, for people. Like, for the rain happening down in California like crazy, to they're calling out an early tornado season coming out into the Midwest, to us being told that be prepared, we're coming into a high forest fire season. You're just like, okay, to the to we are, hasn't been really said, but we're there into this brick of war, right? So it's the craziness, the mayhem, and it's so much out there that you just have to take a step back and just let go and not chase the carrot, not chase the craziness, come back and see where I can come and center and be. and just breathe. Maybe it's just I just need to go bake some cookies, or I just need to go put on, a silly Bridget Jones. Just out of Bridget Jones. Put on a Jones movie and laugh, right? Put on something that's funny. Um, and go to the basics. That's where we're at. It's going to the basics. Some things you may not be able to get done. Like I'm just laughing. Can't get the roof done because the rain won't stop. Electricity's going out. Like people's electricities are going out. Um, I've had somebody try to text me and say, "Well, I've texted you," and I'm just like, "Well, here's my new number," and they're like, "Yeah, I texted your new number," and they're like, "Are you getting it?" And I go back, and it's just like, and then she's found out that's her phone will ring and she tries to answer it and she can't get the number, or she can't hear the person until it goes to voicemail. So just craziness is happening. um Even when I watch was it Chateau Diaries, my chateau, I gotta say that with distinction. Chateau Diaries. They're in South Africa right now, and they're having rollouts, power rollouts, right, all over the country. So certain areas they don't have the money to keep the electricity going, which is really crazy, because it is a country that does have a lot of wealth. Believe it or not, yeah, it's Africa. A lot of African countries have wealth, so much money, so much things that they can be doing there, so much fucking corruption. Just pisses me off, that goes on there. And it's not for the people, it's for their own pocket. I mean, hence why did they kill the, for was it Libya? Yeah, the leader of Libya, and had him assassinated, and so many lies came out about him, and he was doing so much for his country, so much good, because of the wealth and the oil and that's there to do it. So it's amazing, so a lot of this is coming out, a lot of things, but it's brings in the chaos and the craziness within us all, and the overwhelmness. And we feel spiritually, our spiritual self, we feel bogged down. And as I say, this is, by the end of the month, we're going to find it's the X spot, the X marks the spot. So the X spot is, coming forth in what's coming in. On a good news, I think I have been doing nothing, but I have created some. Oh, where did they go? Oh, anyways, I created some fun booklets. Let's see. Let's see if I can bring up February or March. Let's go into March. It starts with an M. It's all in alphabetical order. I have to do the alphabet in my head. Sorry, guys. Not always. There we go. Mars. No. Yeah, I did workbooks. There we go. She's like, no workbooks. Come on. You got to see my workbook. You got to be proud of my workbooks. Booklets. Come on. This is I Grow My Own Way. This is my March one. Going to bring it up and present it. Share screen. Share screen. No, 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 no. Where is it? Ooh, Windows. Is it this one? There it is. That one. That one. Let's share the screen. So, oh, go back. Okay. So, this is like I grow, and there's your March calendar. Okay. And it shows you Venus enters Pisces, Mercury enters Aries, and we'll talk about that soon, because that's when he's going to be going retrograde. Pisces new moon, lunar coming into the eclipse season. And then I have like the to-do and notes. And we have all what about March is and the eclipses and key dates. So isn't it nice? Anyways, I have these little booklets in their PDF form. And I even what else did I create? Just gonna stop the share here. I created for the eclipse season as well. So I have ones for the eclipse season. And yeah, so and for retrograde. So I created a workbook for like Mars retrograde, and because Mars will be going retrograde at the end of the season. Yay! And I created one for each month. I did January and February, just didn't get them out soon enough, but I have ones for each month. And they are for sale for $9.99, or if you buy more than 2, or more than 3 or so, let's say you want all the retrograde, I'll package it up for you with a really good price for you, and they're all in PDF form. And so, like, for instance, I'm trying to be a good salesperson here. Trying. Windows, there we go. So I have this one here, really funky. So it's the Mercury retrograde in Aries. So if you want to prepare and start to work with this energy, definitely, what is the potential impact on you? Um, the whole bit. So all of that. So I have those that are ready to go. Whoopsie. There we go. There I am. Double me. So I have those, and if you're interested in working with them, or if you want to purchase. So, yeah. Loads of fun. Loads of fun. And yeah. So, been doing that, and it's been, yeah, it's one of those things of to do it, right? And taking your time and going through each thing, each direction and stuff. So, we'll see how it all turns out. There we go. There. Anyways, so I have all of that. Working with the different energies of each month. There you go. I'm getting lost. So I'll stop playing. I'll stop playing. So, anyways, there you go, guys. Another crazy day. A lot of emotion, but it's all about surrendering. That's really where it's at. Taking and going into that surrender. So let's bring in. I just went into my little box, my little tickle trunk. Let's bring in the tickle trunk and see what's there. So I went in the tickle trunk, and out came the mermaids and dolphins. So my mermaids and dolphin oracle deck. So let's pull some cards from that. Ooh. So the jumper card is helpful people. Helpful people. Okay. And this is where to think whom that might be. So people around you want to help. Think about who wants to help you, who wants to connect with you, or maybe you have been thinking about somebody that wants to connect, right? And it wants you, they want to give you a handout. They want to give you and say, hey, do you need help with this or that? Or somebody and you're just afraid to connect with them. So this is letting you know there's people around that really want to help and really want to, and work with you. And with that, music for manifesting. So this could bring in some really beautiful energy to help you to manifest and to bring forth what it is that you are desiring. Having the chance, having the satnams and stuff in the backgrounds and the Sanskrits playing, listening to the chants, allowing for the music to play is going to allow for the movement to happen, and allow, hopefully, help you to be more open to receiving the help that you need. We all need a little help. And through that all, playtime. So the playtime is very important. Knowing that there's people around that's going to help you, but bringing in the music and the playtime is really going to help you to connect and dance and move. And that is in fact too helping you to manifest in what you want to create. So the movement really helps you. It's moving the energies around you and creating that beautiful movement that needs to happen around you. So there you go. Magical mermaids and dolphins. So they're another DV cards, and I've had these cards for eons. Tells you I don't use them very often. But going back into the tickle trunk, there we go. Put the lid back on. Never know what cards will come out. Go in there once in a while. So all of you have a fabulous day. If anybody needs to book a reading, let me know. We'll get you in probably next week. And those who are expecting their moon readings should be coming out tomorrow and the next day. So we'll have the moon readings coming out for the full moon, which is on Saturday. Yeah. Get ready for a fabulous moon energies that are coming in this week. So have a blessed one. May the Lord and Lady watch over and bless each and every one of you. In all you say and all you be and all you do, let your light shine, everybody. No, everybody's having a fucked up time right now, so be kind to yourself, all right? Be kind.